Wonderful. So it's Friday and we're going to move. We're going to move our bodies. But first, let's center ourselves and place us into the center of the mat, taking yourself into the most comfortable seated position that you can muster. Just ensuring that your spine is nice and long and that you're sitting nice and deliberately, but still allowing your shoulders to relax. And then when you're ready, let's just start to draw a nice, long breath in through the nose. And a steady breath out through the mouth. And just do as many deeper inhales and exhales as you think you need to settle yourself so that you become nice and calm, that you can start to take your mind a little bit more inwardly. Just start to breathe at a rate that is good for you. Maybe closing your eyes, or maybe just tilting your head so that you're looking down towards the floor. And just thinking about which areas of your body you most want to pay attention to today. That you can bring a little bit of extra focus into your movements by specifying that part of your body that you want to just pay a little extra attention to. Good, now when you're ready, let's interlace our fingers and reach our palms forward. So we're stretching out our wrists. Good, then turn the fingers so you're pressing the tops of your hands forwards to stretch out the back of your wrists. Good. Uninterlace your fingers and bring your left hand down beside you, and then take a long inhale to dip yourself over to the left hand side before windmilling yourself over to the other side. Good. And come back to center, roll your shoulders back, bring your hands so that they are just behind your bum, and then lift your hips away from the floor and look towards the ceiling. I can't because there's a wall in the way. Good, and then drop your hips down, shake out your hands and your fingers, turn your head to the left and then over to the right, and then make your way onto all fours, making sure you're careful where you're placing your fingers and your palms. Good, and then when you're ready, just start to gently rock forwards and backwards. So toes are tucked, and you've got a neutral spine. Okay, so your bum's not sticking up too much and it's not curled under, it's somewhere in the middle. You're just gently pressing yourself forwards and back. See if you can bring your breath in here. So a stronger breath in as you come forwards, pushing yourself away with an exhale. Good, just keep these movements going. And then bring yourself back to a neutral spine. Start to wiggle your tailbone from side to side, maybe dipping your shoulders in. Turn here, just seeing if you can release some tension in your back and shoulders. Good, and then let's just do a few cat-cow movements. So inhaling, stomach presses down, look forwards. Exhale, tucking your tailbone and looking between your knees. Good, just so we're loosening our body up on all planes. Good, let's bring our hands forwards. Take a long breath in and gently lift yourself up into downward facing dog. Good, now bend into each knee in turn so you can straighten out the opposite leg. Good. We're going to make this move a little bit more accentuated. So as you bend into one knee, lift that knee more towards your chest and come and press your heel as far as you can back. Good. Then swap over. So just moving gently from left to right at whatever speed you see fit. Good. Bring both feet down towards the floor. Strong inhale to pull yourself forwards into a plank. Good. Bring your knees to the floor. Bend your elbows. Take your chest towards the floor. Pull forwards. Roll over the tops of your feet. Pull yourself up into a cobra. Good. Let your shoulders release. Bring a small smile to your lips. Good. Then tuck your toes and press yourself back to a child's pose. Good. Draw yourself up onto all fours. Slide your right arm underneath the left and take a twist. Bringing yourself as low towards the floor as you can manage. Good. Now take a strong inhale. Draw that right arm back and then lift it up towards the ceiling. Good, before bringing it in line with the left. Good, same thing, other side. So sliding that left arm through, taking that twist on the other side. Before drawing that arm up towards the ceiling and then coming back to center. Good, let's lift our knees away from the floor again, coming back into downward facing dog. Now see if you can stretch out your back as much as possible here. So pressing through all of the finger pads, reaching your arms back, lifting your bum up nice and high. Good, let's start to pull forwards into a plank and back into downward facing dog in a fairly pacey forwards and backwards movement, using the balls of your feet to propel yourself forwards, as if you're going to jump forwards, but instead just rolling forwards into a plank, before using your hands to press yourself back. Good, let's start to bring the left leg with us. So as you inhale, come forwards with the left knee, and as you exhale, come back. Just pumping this left leg forwards and back. Good. Now, next time you draw forwards with your left foot, step it up so it comes up in between your hands. Again, if you don't quite make it, you can lower your back knee down and you can manually shift that foot up to the top of the mat. Good. Now, lifting your back knee, if you've lowered it, lift yourself up into a high lunge. Good, now start to sink down into that front knee as much as you can. Good, straighten and strengthen your back leg by pressing the heel back. Good, now see if you can either in a series of small steps or one big jump, come all the way to the top of the mat. Good, lift your arms and then fold yourself back down towards the floor. Let the top part of your body hang nice and loose and gently rock yourself from side to side, just allowing your neck to release by nodding your head yes and shaking it no. Good, let's take our feet a little bit wider. Okay. See if you can bend your knees and bring your left hand down towards the floor. Once you manage to get that hand down, turn to the right and lift the other arm up. Good, then swap over your hands. So again, taking this into a back twist, just moving from side to side. Good, and then after you've finished on your left-hand side, bring yourself to being back, folded over your legs, press into the floor and lift yourself up to standing. Good, interlace the fingers and press your palms up towards the ceiling to lengthen out your body as much as possible. Good, take a long breath in. And as you exhale, fold yourself back down towards the floor. Good. Slide both feet back into a plank. Option to bring your knees to the floor if you wish, or keep them raised. As you lower yourself down through a chaturanga, headbutt the bush, and then curl yourself back into a cobra. Good. See if you can get a little extra height in this cobra. Good. Before pressing yourself back into a child's pose. Breathe. Good. Let's press our hands down into the floor. Draw ourselves up. Tuck our toes and lift ourselves up and back into a downward facing dog. Good. Now here, let's take a nice long breath in. And a steady breath out. Good. Now when you're ready, let's start to move forwards and back. Again, using the balls of your feet to propel yourself forwards. Finding that rhythm. Moving at whatever pace is good for you. Good. Now let's start bringing that right knee up with us. Good. Now next time you bring that knee up, step the foot as far up as you can. Pop the back knee down if you need to get that foot a little higher before lifting the back knee again and lifting yourself up nice and high. Good. Now start to sink down into that front knee, keeping the back leg as strong as you can. Good. Hold yourself nice and strong. Breathe. Now again, either with a series of tiny movements with your back foot or one big step, make your way back towards the top. Now extend, reach up nice and tall. Exhale to fold yourself down towards the floor. Good. Now we're going to bend our knees here and stick our bum back. We're going to bring our hands into a prayer underneath our chest. Now nice and slowly, we're going to start to turn to the left, bringing our right elbow on top of our left knee, and then move it over to the other side. And move it back. And other side. Move it back. And finally on this side. Good. Come back to center. Keep your knees bent and bum back as you lift your arm into a chair pose. Breathe. Good. Slowly press the floor away. Come up to standing. Take a long breath in. As you exhale, fold. Good. Again, let the whole of the top part of your body hang nice and loose and gently rock yourself around the hip. Good. We're going to move into 3 half lifts. So when you're ready, inhale, hands come to your shins or knees. Bum goes back, shoulders back and look forwards. Good. Let yourself fold. Again, strong inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Last one, inhale, half lift, pause there. Good. See if you can sit back a little bit further before folding. Straighten out your legs. Either let your hands dangle or take hold of your wrists or elbows behind your legs. Good. Breathe. When you're ready, lower your hands down towards the floor. Plant your hands into the floor and step yourself back into a plank. Good. See if you can challenge yourself here by keeping your knees raised. Of course, the option to lower them is there if you need to. Hold this pose nice and strong, heels back. Good. Pressing the floor away from you as much as you can. Hips aren't sagging, hips are lifted. Breathe. You've got this. Hold it there. Steady inhales. Steady exhales. Strengthening out our shoulder muscles. Good. Now, when you're ready, lower yourself down through a chaturanga. Pull yourself forwards and up into a cobra. Imagine you're trying to pull yourself forwards with your hands and then let your shoulders come back. Good. Let's flip ourselves back into a child's pose. Good. A long breath here. Let it go. Good. As you inhale, draw yourself back as if you're going to sit on your heels. Keep your fingers pointing forwards. Lean into your hands. Lift your chest. Lift your hips away from your knees and look towards the ceiling. Good. Lower everything back down. Reach your hands forwards. Tuck your toes and lift yourself back and up. Downward facing dog. Long breath in. And let it go. Good. Let's lift our left leg up. Curl it underneath and step it up in between your hands. Good. Taking your right hand to the top corner of your mat, swoop your left arm forwards and then up towards the ceiling. Good. Now, if you're starting to sink in your right leg, lift your hips, press your right heel back. Just strengthen it. Good. Bring that hand back down. Take yourself back into a three-leg dog and then drop that leg down. Let's lift the other leg up. Right leg lifts. Curl it underneath. Step it up in between your hands. Left hand goes to the edge of the mat. And then sweep your right arm up and round. Again, if you feel your left leg sagging, lift your hips, press your left heel back. Breathe. Good. Let's bring that right hand back down towards the floor and step yourself towards the top of the mat. So you're hanging over your legs. Good. Now slowly as you can, draw yourself up to standing. And take a mountain pose. So palms point forwards, shoulders are loose. You're standing tall and strong, yet relaxed. Close your eyes if you feel like it. And breathe. Good. Now when you're ready, let's bring our hands to our waist. Let's shift the weight over to our right foot. Let the weight run down the right-hand side of your body. Good. Start to lift the left foot away from the floor. So we're going into a one-legged balance here. Now try and lift this left knee as high as you can and keep the toes on your left foot active. Breathe. Good. Now when you're ready, we're going to tilt forwards and see how far you can send your left foot back. If you don't get it far back very much, you can always shift it back just by doing tiny little hops. Good. Now bend into your front knee. Inhale to lift your arms and then exhale. Pivot everything out into warrior two. Okay, so your back heel comes down to the floor. Toes are now pointing to the left-hand side. Front foot is still facing forwards. You may be able to go a little wider in your stance. Bring your hands to your hips and bend into that front knee. Good. When you're ready, bring your arms out. Turn your right palm to face the ceiling, keeping your legs where they are. Tilt yourself back. Good. Then bring yourself forwards. Sink a little lower. Turn the palm. Tilt yourself back. Come forwards. Sink a little lower. Turn the palm. Lift it up. And then come back. Good. Now breathe. Good. Now start to straighten your front leg and bend into your back leg. You're going to turn to face the left-hand side. Good. Bring your hands into a prayer by your chest and stretch out your right foot, leg. Good. Now let's turn our right toes to point in the same direction as the left and turn our left toes to point behind us so that we can come up into a warrior two on the other side. Good. Again, turn the palms so it's facing the ceiling. Keep your legs where they are, tilt back, and then come back to center. Good. Sink a little lower as you turn the front palm. Lift up. Come back. Sink a little lower. Turn the palm. Lift up. Come back. Good. Now again, start to straighten that front leg as you bend into your right leg. Bring your hands into a prayer. Stretch out that left leg as much as you can before turning yourself back to the position you were in before. Good. Now let's bring our hands onto our waist here and see if you can lift your left heel away from the floor and turn yourself to look back towards the front, okay? So we come back into a high lunge. So it's a small pivot from here to here. Good. Now see if you can step yourself, oh, almost didn't make it, up to the top of your mat. Good. Now bend into each knee and turn, what I like to call a standing mince. Just to loosen out the backs of your legs. Good. As we begin to move into a balance pose. Good. So when you're ready, let's press the weight down our left leg this time. Good. And then slowly begin to lift the right leg away from the floor. Toes are still active. Good. Now we're going to draw our left hand over the top of our right knee. Good. Now start to draw this leg across the body. And then take the other arm out towards the side. Now find something in the room that doesn't move and focus on it. Breathe. Good, and then come back to center, swap over your hands, ignore the burning feeling in your left leg, and open up to the other side. See how you can hold yourself here. If you come out of the pose, just make your way back in through the same way that you started. And breathe. Good. Let's start to gather this leg back in towards the center and then step it down before shaking out your standing leg. Good. Again, little standing mince here just to loosen up your hips and your legs. When you're ready, let's do the same thing on the other side. So shift the weight over to your right leg, lift the left leg away from the floor. Encourage it a little higher with your hands before then starting to draw that leg across the body, taking your left hand out towards the side. Breathe. See how steady you can make yourself, keeping your breath nice and fluid. Good. Now when you're ready, let's bring that knee back, swap over the hands, and open up. Find that point in the room that doesn't move, focus on it. See if you can find stillness in your pose. Good, let's see if we can hold it just for a little longer. Ignore the feeling in your standing leg. Focus on your breathing or wiggling your left toes. Good, then when you're ready, let's slowly bring that leg back in, drop it down, and then shake out your standing leg. Oof. Good, making your way back towards the top of your mat. Hold yourself in a nice strong mountain pose. Before bringing your fingertips again together, interlacing them, pressing the palms forwards, and then lifting up towards the ceiling to stretch out the whole of your body. Breathe. Good, before folding yourself down towards the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to plant your hands into the mat. Now either step, run, or fly to the back of your mat. Hold yourself here in plank. Squeeze your abs, squeeze your chest. See how still you can make yourself. Good, now nice and slowly lower yourself towards the floor. Pull yourself forwards and up into a cobra. Relax your jaw and relax your shoulders. Before shifting yourself back to a child's pose. And breathe. Steady inhales. Steady exhales. Good, now when you're ready, let's pull ourselves up so that we come up to sitting on our knees. Sitting, standing on our knees, we're on our knees. Good, let's also make sure that our toes are tucked. Okay, we're going to bring our fists behind our body and rest them on the muscles that sit just above our bum. Now try and draw your elbows together. If this is not okay for you, you can always bring your hands to point down or a little bit out to the side. Just so long as you can bring your elbows towards one another to help lift and open your chest. Good. Now from this position, I want you to tilt back with the upper back. Okay? So we want to avoid our pelvis moving forwards. We want to keep that level. So we're just tilting back from our upper back. Now you may be able to bring your hands down onto your heels, keeping that chest lifted. If not, just keep that tilt back so you can stretch out the front of your body. And breathe. If you struggle to breathe, bring yourself back to the earlier stage. Good. Then bringing yourself back up onto your knees. Bring your hands forwards. Keeping your hips over the top of your knees. Let your chest dip down towards the floor. Good, before drawing yourself back onto all fours, wiggling your tailbone from side to side. Good, let's shift ourselves round so that we're sitting on our bum. And our right leg has gone out to the side and our left leg is bent and the foot is trying to press into the inside of the right thigh. Good. If your leg is high up like this, that's okay. Just maybe wedge like a cushion or a brick or something underneath, just so that you don't have to worry about it hurting on the inside of your thigh as it inevitably tries to draw towards the floor. Good. Now trying to sit yourself as upright as possible. I want you to lift your arms towards the ceiling. Turn and look at your extended leg and then fold. Now, once your chest has come forward as much as it's able to, let your hands drop. They may well drop short of your foot. That's fine. Just so that you can encourage your chest forwards and your shoulders back. So you're feeling a stretch running up the back of your leg and into your bum. If you are reaching well past your foot, you may do well to put a cushion or something to make the distance even greater so that you can stretch a little further. And breathe. Good, then nice and slowly, draw yourself back up to seated. Let's open up the other leg. Okay, so that goes wide as well. Keeping the toes nicely curling back. If you feel like you're leaning back here and it's difficult for you to maintain forwards, you may do well to stick pillows or anything underneath you to help tilt your pelvis forwards. Or take a small bend into the knee, which is what I'm doing at the moment. Good, once you've got your legs open as wide as possible, slowly begin to walk your hands forwards. As far forwards as you're able to, you may be able to collapse fully down towards the floor, or you may not move far at all. As long as you're feeling stretching happening in the insides of your thighs, just breathe. Breathe through it. Good, then let's draw ourselves back to center. Good, let's bend our right foot, knee, so that the right foot can go onto the inside of the thigh. And we'll do the same thing as we did on the other side. So interlacing the fingers, reaching our arms up to lengthen, and then pressing ourselves forwards, letting the hands drop wherever they naturally drop. Feeling the back of your legs stretching, pressing your chest forwards, keeping your shoulders back. And breathe. Good, and then draw yourself back up to your seated position. Let's do the reverse this time. So let's bring both knees in so that the soles of the feet are together. Draw them as close to your body as you feel comfortable to do so. Make sure that you can still sit up straight and that your shoulders can relax. Good, let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, either draw your knees a little closer towards the floor so you're manually stretching the insides of your thighs, or rest your arms on them to give a little extra weight. And if it helps to close your eyes here, go for it. Good, then nice and slowly, let's draw our knees up towards one another. So we come into this tiny little ball. Good, bring yourself so you've got plenty of space to roll back, keeping your knees as close to your chest to begin with, and then taking your arms parallel I want you to imagine that you're pressing each vertebrae down onto the floor one at a time. So you're rolling your spine one by one with the vertebrae down onto the floor. And then once you're fully down, just gently rock your knees from side to side. Good, and then draw the knees back in towards the chest while you're flat down on the floor. Take hold of your knees and gently rock yourself from side to side. Good, and just lower your feet down behind you, just so you can just about feel your heels possibly, or at least that you're reaching towards them. Try and ensure that your feet are pointing straight forwards, which I appreciate is difficult when you can't see them. So just feel like they are facing forwards. Then when you're ready, take a deep breath in, press your feet down and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Maybe shift onto your shoulder blades by bringing them a little closer together and interlacing your fingers underneath your bum and lifting your hips up as high as you can. Breathe. Hold yourself here and breathe. Good, then nice and slowly start to release yourself back down towards the floor. Good, let's slide our left leg forwards and then bring our right knee in towards our chest. Good, taking hold of that right knee with your left hand, draw the leg across you into a crocodile twist and be mindful to keep your right shoulder blade flat down on the floor. Take your right arm out to the side and then turn and look at it. So we've taken ourselves into a full spinal twist. And breathe. Good, nice and slowly draw this leg back up. Squeeze it in before sending it out and swapping over with the left leg. Good, same thing as before. So taking hold of the left knee with just your right hand, draw that leg across the body, taking the left arm out to the side, and then turning and looking at it. Keeping that left shoulder blade flat on the floor. And breathe. Before gently rolling yourself back onto your lower back and pressing that left leg forwards. Good, now let's take both arms over our head and split our toes forward like this. Take a long breath in, and as you exhale, release and draw your hands down to your side or to rest on your belly. And then just start to note the gentle rise and fall of your belly as your breath starts to become less controlled. And then start to soften the muscles in your face. So starting with your jaw, and letting your jaw become slack. Taking away the tension in your tongue. And allowing the area under your eyelids to soften. Allowing your forehead to smooth and to sink further either side of your head. And to feel your eyes sinking back. And then come back to your breath. And just note how it's changed. How it's different. How it's chilled. Releasing the rest of your body, and it melts towards the floor. Before starting to wiggle your fingers and your toes and your nose. And slowly start to gather in a longer inhale through your nose. Fill your chest. And once it's full, draw your knees in towards it. Good. Nice and slowly roll yourself over to either the right or the left hand side. And gently press yourself up back to the seated position that you started. That comfortable, easy position. Let's take a long breath in together. So empty your lungs of all the air it has. Start to take a long breath in. And let it go. Begin to flutter your eyelids open. Thank you for joining today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is that you are doing. But to all of you who have joined today, and most importantly, to yourselves for coming, we can bow and say, Namaste.